Welcome to the Cluttered Corner. I'm Chelsea. Today is day 13 of Inktober, and today's word is horizon. And you know, that makes me think of the game Horizon. I have not actually played. My wife plays it though, and I have seen a lot of it. Do I think I can draw Aloy? Do you want to see me try and draw Aloy? Yeah, I'm gonna draw her. And guess what? There's gonna be a horizon in the background. So we're gonna do both. Alright, she's got some hair, like some squiggly hair. I'm going from memory of a game I haven't actually played. So, you know, we're not sure what's gonna happen. Oh, well, no. I'm so sorry to everyone. I'm sorry to Aloy, and I'm so sorry to the people who designed her, and the voice actor, just, you know, everything. I don't know. I don't know how to do her hair. I don't know what, she wears, like, she wears furs? I don't know what she wears. I don't remember. So this is her right arm. I think she's right-armed, right-handed. Or I'm gonna draw her holding something. She's gonna have 5 fingers, not a cartoon. How about a stick? I can draw a stick. Where's her thumb? Is that right? Hold on, I gotta see. Yeah, that's right, that's right. That's where the thumb goes. You know, I mean, I don't hate it, but I also hate it. You know what I mean? Okay, and there's a horizon behind her. A beautiful sunny horizon. Another sun picture. This one's gonna be better than the last sun picture I did. Oh, oops, I got my thumb in the way. I'm okay. This kind of looks like water, so I'm gonna, like, you know, paint a little bit on here. She's standing on a cliff over a horizon, and, you know, she's like, hey, I've been here, take my picture. So that, you know, this is a great spot. This is a great lookout spot to, like, get your picture taken. Yeah. You know, I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Even if like is maybe a strong word here, but I don't know, I like it. Is it Aloy? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel after I have painted it. Okay, let's spray these down. Now, her hair is like a red. It's a very ruddy color. We can all agree on that, I think. But, you know, I'm not sure how accurate this is gonna be. This is already not accurate. I mean, if you want accurate painting, this is probably not the right channel. Or certainly not the right day. Not what I'm doing this from memory. Her hair is more orange than that. Her hair is more orange. I'm gonna activate this orange. Put a little bit of this red in it. See how this goes. It's better. It's better, I think. Is it right? Don't know. But yeah, here she is. She's on a trip. She's always on a trip, right? She's never staying in one place. She's always going somewhere. But she is sightseeing this cliff, and I don't know who's with her taking this picture with her. But you know, it's kind of like a vacation photo. Aloy doesn't go on vacation, but if she did, this could be what she's doing. I don't think she goes on vacation. She's always busy. She's always, living her life. I mean, we're always living our lives, even if we're on vacation or not. But you know what I mean. She's always busy working on quests. And let's see, I've got my painting cloth thing here. I used to use paper towels, but you end up using so many of them. And I mean, I assume this is environmentally better. I've seen people trying to like do the math on like whether it costs more environmentally to have a cotton rag than it does to be using paper towels. I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said about that, but I'm gonna assume that this cotton rag is okay. But also, it's just more convenient, I think, to have these washable ones because they hold a lot more than like a paper towel, and you don't have to keep you don't end up with soggy paper towels, and you don't have to keep, changing it out. So, I prefer these. And what was I going to say? That made me think of something. Well, I don't know. Today I've been playing Against the Storm. I don't know if you've played that. It's really fun. I played it. I think I got it. I don't remember if it was when it first came out. I don't know if it's still in beta. It might still be in beta. But it was definitely in beta when I got it. And I have 140 hours in it, apparently. I knew I played it a lot, but then you see numbers like that and you're like, whoa. I can't recall 140 hours of my life, so it just seems weird. But I haven't played it in a long time. Probably at least a year, maybe longer than that. Probably longer than that. And they've made a lot of updates to it since then. So I've just kind of been waiting because I've been like, I want to start it over. I want to play it. You got to be in the right mood because then it's kind of like, well, how much am I going to have to learn about this game that I already kind of know, but, don't completely know. So, I started playing that again today, and, I mean, I've only played a few rounds, but it's fun, and it's an upgrade from the type of games I have been playing, which is just Clutter. I don't know if you play Clutter. If you like matching games, like mindless matching games and stuff, look into the Clutter games. If you want to ruin your life, look into those because they're really fun and they will provide you hours of frustration and some 700. I have 773 hours in one of the Clutter games. I have played 2 of them. Because, that one that's 773 hours, that one was really, I kind of felt like I don't need another one because I'm still working on this one. There are some levels in that are like from old Clutter. So it's like a big pile of junk, basically, pictures of junk. And some of them are like old toys from like 70s or something. I don't know. Those ones creep me out. But like, there's different kinds of junk depending on, which set of junk you're looking at. But like the original one, it was like, I think you get like 20 minutes to like sort out all these matches. And there's like some of the higher levels on that I mean, I'll have watched like whole seasons of shows just trying to beat like one level and I can't do it. And now I can't remember which one that one is. The one I've been playing recently is like Clutter 9 Extreme or something. I don't know. Oh, Beyond? Clutter Beyond. And they all have like, they all have very similar names. And I don't know if it even matters which one you play. But I'm stuck on this one that's like, well, actually several that have like these emoji faces. And some of them you're trying to match them with like smaller versions of themselves, and some of them it's like opposite, like mirrored versions. And it's really fun. It is a bit frustrating, and I have spent hours and hours just trying to beat like, well, both of those levels, but like I've definitely spent hours trying to beat like just one level. And I mean, I have fun. So I'll be listening to, podcasts and stuff while I'm doing it. This isn't like something I just do super focused, It's something that I do while listening to other things or like watching shows, So I have trouble sitting still for like a show or a podcast or an audiobook. I got to be doing something at the same time. And I just love mindlessly playing games like that while watching something or listening, listening to a podcast. I've been listening to this podcast called Even the Rich. It's really fun. It's kind of celebrity gossip, but it's like researched, and they're like describing like, I don't know, the lives of various like famous people. Some of them current, some of them historical. So if you like that kind of thing, that's a good podcast. I'm catching up. I just started it. But yeah, so I like listening to stuff and playing games that I can play while listening. Now, I think I can play Against the Storm while listening to stuff. I think that's why I have 140 hours in it. But, not yet, because I have to relearn it. But once it becomes second nature, then I can listen to stuff while I'm playing it. But right now I have to focus. But so I play Clutter, and I've got these levels I just can't beat, but every time I'm like, just one more. I can do it. I can beat it. It seems like I can. I can't. Like, some of these levels, you have to make 72 matches in 200 seconds. And the closest I can get is maybe around like 20 left. I've made more matches than that, so it's like I'll have like 20 left when it's done. And you can continue playing after that, like, it's not strict about it. It's just something I feel like I need to do. But then when I continue the level after the timer has gone off, there's no way. Like, it takes me longer to do that, to finish it for reals. And I'm just like, there's no way. I don't know. Some of the ones though, they'll give you like 999 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, this only took me like less than 200 seconds. So I'm not sure how the dev is deciding like how to time those. And you can change the timing. You can turn it off. Maybe I should turn it off for my own sanity. But the point is, I personally need to do it. I can do it. I know I can, but I can't. If you've played Clutter and you know what I'm talking about, and you've like beaten all of them on the timer that it gives you, please tell me the secret. Like, just whisper it in the comments. What is the secret? Now, I want to point out something in this picture. I didn't do this intentionally, but the way that this did, because I was painting it while it's wet, the sun bled into the water, and it looks great. It looks like it's supposed to be like that. You might have thought, while I was doing this, oh, she's doing that on purpose. She's not. I mean, I did. After it started doing that, and I saw that I liked it, I did let it happen, but like, I didn't start out with that intention. I'm just impatient and learning from whatever happens, But yeah, I like it. I like how this is going. And I'm going to add a little bit more orange here to the bottom of the sun. I don't know if it needs it, but I want to put it there. I think it does need it because I liked it when it was a little bit darker, but it's kind of dried up a bit. So, and it's lightened up. Oh, but look at this is my favorite spot right here. That looks great. It's really turning out to be a beautiful painting of Aloy, in quotes, of a horizon. This is a horizon. That's what it is. And I think that part, at least, is, it's a horizon. We can say that. It's a horizon-themed horizon. And that's good enough. Okay, now, I don't know how to paint her face. Skin color is tough. And I feel like that's true no matter what the skin color is. So, like, I don't know, just everything about humans is really hard. I don't know what I'm doing with this red. This is not going to be the skin color. I thought maybe I would add a little bit more highlight to her hair. But yeah, I just feel like anything about humans is tough. And I think that's because we, as humans, are programmed to really, see the patterns and the shapes and stuff in people's faces. And so then when you go to paint it or draw it or whatever, it's really easy to just be like, oh, it doesn't look right. Because you're so used to just like, you really have to, get all the details right. Or really simplify it so that you're not even seeing that, So, how does one paint a face? Let's skip that for now. Let's draw this. I'm going to paint the stick. Let's paint the stick. I'm going to put that in here. That's probably that's not the brown I want. Oh, I could be looking at this. Let's see. I think I want it to be kind of a burnt umber. Because that's the kind of brown that I'm picturing the stick being. I think Aloy has a stick. As I said, I haven't actually played this game. I've seen a lot of it, though, and it's, been on. Like, I have been present for the game, let's say. But I don't necessarily play it myself. Even if I had, though, I'm not sure I would know the answer to any of these questions. It's one of those things, like, you think you know, but then if you're not looking at it, you're like, wait, does that person have a mustache? Don't remember. Aloy does not. Also, I know there's been, like, I think it was that one. People were, like, upset that she's, like, all buff or something and, like, not hot enough. And that's stupid. I mean, it's stupid for a lot of reasons. But also, like, she's got to live a buff life, okay? But also, it's not for anyone to say that she needs to be hot or whatever that even is, or that she needs to not be buff. Because it's like, you know what? She's got to be buff. She's got a lot of like very physical stuff she has to do. And she needs to be able to do that believably. And also, she's not there just to like please people's need for looking at beautiful women. Like, also, that's not a need. Also, the world caters to that way too much. But yeah, I think Aloy looks great. And as a woman, especially, I like that, things, I like when there's things that aren't just like, oh, this is a hot girl. Everyone needs to look like this or else they don't exist. Because guess what? We all exist. And, it was different when I was growing up. Which I talked about in a different video, sort of. Not to just rehash it and always go on, like, a feminist rant, which I don't always go on, to be fair. I could, and I don't. But, like, I don't know. It was different in the 90s. And I've been thinking about that a lot because of that podcast I've been listening to, Even the Rich, where they have been talking about, well, the one I listened to the season about Jessica Simpson, and all this stuff where, like, she was supposedly fat, and it's just, like, she was never fat. And even if she was, like, it doesn't matter, Like, that's fine. And all these things were just people, like, I don't know, people trying to decide, like, what is okay for women to look like, and they don't get to decide for themselves. And then these are, like, and, like, there was stuff like that, too, I think, with, like, I listened to seasons about Mariah Carey, I listened to one about Britney Spears, just, like, all these women who have had to deal with, like, men telling them how they need to look in order to be successful. And I think things are changing. Now, if you weren't around then, you might be thinking, things are still pretty bad. And you know what? They are. But they were way worse. There's been an awful lot of progress. And, you know, I feel like there's just been an awful lot of progress, like, just in the last few years, just for, like, everything, you know? Everything that's, like, things that used to not be allowed, you know? There's so much more, gender, well, I was going to say, like, there's gender stuff like that, like, between men and women, but then there's also, like, just, you know, it's okay to be trans, it's okay to be, non-binary, it's okay to, like, you know, people are asking about pronouns, people are, you know, just more accepting and aware. And I think that's great. And I feel like that happened, like, there was just a shift, like, really quickly over the last few years where that kind of thing has just really changed. And a lot of the change, I believe, is, you know, from the internet. And I would say also, you know, stuff like TV and shows and things do really have, like, an influence on stuff. And one of the things, like, so in this podcast, you know, I was talking about all these women, and it's like, back in the day, back in the 90s, everybody was, like, beholden to what, you know, what their record label is saying, and, like, what the press is saying about them. And nobody really had their own voice, even though, you know, you think of them as having it, but they didn't. And now, with social media, like, celebrities are allowed to speak for themselves. And people can actually, like, know them. And it's not just like, here's a persona that the marketing team decided is you. And I say all this not being a celebrity and never having been one. But, you know, and not, you know, just, I'm not part of that world. And so, but I am a woman who has to live in the world. And do you know what? When I stopped watching commercials, like, years ago, I just started feeling so much better about myself. And it's just so much insidious stuff that's just, like, out there trying to make you feel bad about yourself. And it doesn't even have to say it, you know, because it's like, well, but you only see one type of person, or you only see, you know, like, oh, people have to look like this, or everything is just like, this is how women are always portrayed, and if they're not allowed to be seen. It's like, sometimes when I watch, like, shows from, like, the UK or Australia or something, and there'll be people who are acting, you know, who are not, like, super thin. And you know, and I mean, there'll be, you know, fat people, overweight people, and you know, I'm fat and overweight. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, oh, you know, like, I don't think it's bad. But you see them and you're like, whoa, like, what, they're acting? Like, you never see people like that acting. They're not allowed here. And that's crazy. And, like, it just makes you think, like, wait, you know, because I'm not actively thinking about it. When I see thin people on TV, I'm not thinking, like, oh, a fat person could never do that. But then when you see someone who looks different than what you're used to seeing, then you're like, whoa, like, you know, it feels like, wait, they can't do that, can they? Are they good at that? And it's just like, of course, you know, like, being fat does not mean you're not good at things. And I know that, like I said, you know, it's like, you know, I'm not thin, I'm not, you know, I don't really have any, beauty standards, you know, not hitting any of those boxes. But, like, I know that it doesn't matter. And yet, even knowing that, knowing, like, well, I'm not stupid because I'm overweight or, like, untalented or whatever, it still just gets in your brain. And then you realize it, you have that moment, and you're like, whoa, like, what is this even doing to me, you know? Anyway, I don't know if you guys have experienced anything like that. I think my point is, American TV needs to have wider variety of people, you know? Now that can be true, like, you know, I don't know if people like in Australia or the UK are like, oh, we have different standards and like there are people who aren't allowed to be on stuff. I'm sure that's true. But from an American standpoint, I think they have a much wider variety of people who are, you know, allowed to be in stuff. And here it's like, oh, if we see someone who doesn't, you know, conform to like our exact standards that we've been trained to see, what will happen, you know, what will happen to us? We won't be able to handle it. And that's not true, you know, we can handle it. It's fine. And I think the world would be better if we had more variety in media. And there's starting to be stuff like that, you know, and like models and stuff for like clothes and like underwear. You know, there'll be different body types, different races, you know, things like that. I think there still needs to be more of it, but we're getting there. And things like definitely weren't like that when I was a kid, growing up in like the 80s and 90s. And I feel like on every video I bring up the fact that I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I don't know why. I don't feel like it's something I talk about a lot in real life, but I guess just because if you don't know me, you don't already know that, you know? So it comes up. But anyway, my point is women can look how they want and it's fine. And talent should be not supposedly restricted to how you look, you know? And I think also, like, what makes people beautiful should not be restricted to how they look either. Because isn't talent beautiful? Isn't talent and success just so beautiful? I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on it. And, yeah. I think Aloy looks great being buff. I think that's fine. And I think... Actually, you know what? I'm really happy with the way that video game stuff has changed like that too. Now, still got a ways to go, and I know there's still a lot of sexism, but things have definitely changed. And there's definitely, like, you know, because for a long time there'd be like this thing like, oh, girls don't play games. And it's like, well, you don't make games for them. Or you make one game for them, and it's like, oh, Barbie. And guess what? It didn't sell. And it's like, well, yeah, of course it didn't sell, because you didn't really, you know, like, because the point of making games, like, it doesn't have to be for girls, but it has to be not so male-centric that girls feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. Or, you know, or like, this is, like, offensive or upsetting to me. And I think that's all it takes, you know? And definitely, like, with indie games and stuff, there's, you know, so many things. The internet has changed so many things. And I know it's easy to think, like, oh, social media is, like, a problem or all these things. And it can be a problem, but everything can be a problem. But there's also a lot of good that just having so many more voices and opinions, and it's not limited by like what you know, designated people on TV are getting to say is what, you know, what counts, or like what is going on, or what the opinions are. And there can be indie games and stuff, and books, independently published books that are in genres that before gatekeepers and stuff have said, oh, no one would read that. That's not a genre, or that's not an age group. Like, college age stuff used to not be a thing. You couldn't have characters who were college age. They could be high school or they could be adult, but they couldn't be college age because no one would read that. And then, you know, people started just publishing those books themselves, and guess what? It was a huge thing, and they sold tons of books. I don't really write college age, you know, like, I don't have a desire to. But I think anything where people are saying like, oh, no one would read that, that's not a genre, they're probably wrong. Because people just need good stories and good characters. And, you know. Anyway, I guess that kind of, well, I meant everything I said. I stand by my opinions. I didn't mean for this to be such an opinionated video, but, you know, it happens. Anyway, this is Aloy standing in front of a horizon. And I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. Is this a good picture of Aloy? I don't know. Does it capture her spirit? Maybe. You know, maybe. But anyway, that's day 13. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know if any of this has resonated with you, or if you, well, I won't say if you feel like this looks like it. Anyway, let's not, you know, let's not judge that. Let's not put that out there. I know what this is. I know what this looks like, okay? It looks like Aloy enough. But it's definitely Horizon, and that's all we had to do. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time on the Cluttered Corner. Let me actually Google what Aloy looks like. Aloy, fictional character, that's right. Oh. Well, I mean, you know, this is, yeah.